out and causing issues. But anyway, we got 8 players in the servers. Let's go ahead and preview this match. Let's start it now. So welcome everyone over here to Dustmaret TV. Tonight we have an ESEA Premier matchup here between number 3 Mobility Gaming with a 5-1 record going up against number 9 Tempo with, I believe, a 3-2 record if I'm not mistaken. They're going to be playing on DE Mirage tonight. Now, just to kind of give you a little bit of insight into how these teams play this map, Mobility Gaming has kind of claimed, whenever I was talking to them at the ESWC North American Qualifiers in Montreal a few weeks back, that this is actually their favorite map and their best map as a team. So this is one of Mobility Gaming's stronger maps from either side. They have really good smoke executions on the A-bomb site. Of course, that's kind of commonplace on this map, right? You know, flying over here, you're always going to see smokes that block off CT spawn. You're going to have some type of smoke that lands somewhere around here that blocks off window room vision. And then you're going to have another smoke that lands on top of the stairs that's going to block off vision as well from people trying to rotate upstairs and peeking here and sliding over here. So basically, I mean, what it boils down to is you're going to have smoke on top of the stairs right here, a smoke somewhere in this general area, you know, blocking that off as well. So that's now completely sealed off like a wall. Then you'll have some other smoke landing here. And then on top of that, you'll probably have some flashes streaming in, of course. Maybe you're going to throw like a Molotov or something underneath the balcony to flush players out this way and do some type of execution. That's something that Mobility Gaming really does like to do on their T side for sure, that I noticed from the ESWC qualifiers. So be on the lookout for that type of play. You know, maybe sometimes they're only throwing the CT spawn smoke and then they're throwing a deeper window smoke over here. That way they can actually work some type of mid-A split up the ramp, up connector, and out apartments at the same time. But more than likely you're going to see more of, you know, smokes like this and then just some type of 3-2 split where you kind of have like 2 guys coming out of apartments and 3 coming up the A ramp. And that's what you're going to see more often than not whenever you see A executions. So that's something definitely to keep a lookout for, especially with Mobility Gaming. Now, of course, Tempo was also kind of known to be pretty decent on complexity back in the day, back when Flom, Pinecone, and Shots were playing for, when they were sponsored by Exertus last season. They actually had a pretty good run on this map. I think they may have beaten Complexity on this map or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, a while back on this map. I think they did it as well the season before that, whenever they had Summit still playing with them. So that's I'm kind of foggy on that, to be honest, but I'm pretty sure that that's like somewhat correct. Anyway, when you're looking at the rosters just themselves, moving away from map strategy and just talking about the players and teams that are involved in this match, when you look at Tempo, like I said, you're going to notice Flom, Pinecone, and Shots from the former Exertus lineup back before Exertus sponsored United 5. They were also known as Grandpa Berets. They were an invite team that did okay. I mean, they definitely had some talent on the team, but they certainly weren't consistent, and therefore they never really were a playoff/LAN contender. But those names will definitely be familiar to you. Emung and Michael 3D should also be very familiar to you because they were formerly members of the Curse lineup long ago. They started out as Hold Mouse 1 back in Season 12 of ESEA, so the first season that CSGO was a competitive title for ESEA, or at least at the invite level. I guess there was open and intermediate during Season 11, but then Season 12 is whenever we actually got a professional or invite division in ESEA for Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and that is whenever you saw Hold Mouse 1 kind of come into existence, back whenever they had Emung, Michael 3D, Skadoodle, TM, and their 5th kind of escapes me right now on the name on that for some reason, but that's definitely 4 of the 5 there. I just can't remember who the 5th was. I think it was Juvenile, my fault. So yeah, it was Michael 3D, Emung, Skadoodle, TM, and Juvenile. And that was the whole Mouse 1 lineup. They then got sponsored by Curse soon after their venture into CSGO, and they went through some different lineup changes. I think maybe TM was the first player to kind of leave the team, then Juvenile left as well. That's whenever you saw like Anger come in and Frost come in, then Easy PK came in, then all those guys left, you know, including Michael 3D and Emung, Emung, TM, and Juvenile all kind of left around the same time, to be honest. But since then, Michael 3D and Emung actually went to play competitive Call of Duty on the console. You guys will probably remember that because DayZ was a part of that whole like temporary break from Counter-Strike Global Offensive. But after they gave up on that and, you know, Days came back to play for iBuyPower, Michael 3D and Emong also kind of stepped back into CS. They played in, I guess, the more amateur divisions of ESEA for a little while, but now they're in the Premier Division with the likes of the former Exertus guys that I've already talked about, which is, of course, Flamshots and Pinecone. So that is your roster rundown / brief history of what you know about Tempo. Now, when you go over to the mobility gaming side of things, like I said, this team should be familiar to you if you were paying attention to the ESWC North American qualifiers. They were also, I think, the intermediate champions of ESEA last season, and that's how they got moved up to Premier. But they, like I said, they gained probably most of their fame or most of their presence in the community from how they fared at the ESWC North American qualifiers in Montreal, which myself and Van Silly were a part of. Of course, they had a rough time against iBuyPower in group play, and then in the grand finals, they actually got a pretty close game against them on DDoS too. But outside of that, they certainly kind of suffered a pretty hard loss to iBuyPower, who took the #1 spot in the free trip to Paris for ESWC, which will be in Paris, France, I believe sometime in October. But because of them making it to the grand finals, they still got the 2nd place standing at that event, and thus they do have the invite to go to Paris for ESWC, but of course they'll have to pay their own way, which I know they're asking for donations and things like that, so I know they're trying to work it out at least. But yeah, I mean, their roster has changed a bit, though. They still do have Davey, Sidoff, Zek, and Stanislaw. Stanislaw being their in-game lead, Zek being their opper, Davey kind of being one of their entry fraggers, and Sidoff kind of being kind of a mixed role in how he rifles. But Strider apparently had to step away from the game for whatever reason, and so they have actually picked up Slip, who you should also recognize. He used to play with Mouse Spaz, which is now Netcode Guides. He also was around in the 1.6 days, and he temporarily played with Dazed on one of the Denial lineups, Denial Esports lineups a long time ago. So it's a name that you'll probably recognize as well. But let's get started here, as we are going to have mobility gaming starting out on the T side. Like I said, Slip, Davey, Sidoff, Zek, and Stanislaw. Tempo on the CT side, Flamshots, Emong, Michael 3D, and Pinecone. Looks like mobility gaming is definitely setting up for some type of A execution here. They're just waiting for that smoke to dissipate on the A ramp. They are going to go ahead and start throwing those smokes and flashes. There you see that smoke landing on top of the stairs. You'll also probably see one CT spawn and towards the window room. And actually no smoke on CT spawn, and that is going to cause some issues as Emong won't be able to get that kill there onto Slip. Stanislaw trying to fight back, able to get one, but then Zek TKs him, and that is going to be rough to get that money penalty so early. If they can win out this round, though, and with the bomb plant, they may still be okay, and Sidoff is definitely trying his best to make sure that happens as he gets 2 nice headshot frags. Davey also with one leaving Pinecone alone in a 1 versus 3. Gets a nice headshot there onto Davey, trying to press into the side, spots another one, gets that kill on the Zek as well, but at this point, I don't think he can defuse, so this should be a win for Mobility Gaming, and in fact, Sidoff will ensure it by getting that final frag. That was actually a big round for Sidoff. He had a hat trick that round. He got 2 frags on CT spawn, after trading with Emong after the TK, and then he wound up getting the final frag there in the end as well. And so because of that, Mobility Gaming is, of course, going to be able to go ahead and upgrade here. They're going to get a couple of Galils, a couple of CZs. They have 1 MP7 over there on Slip. But it's kind of rough, I guess, for Zek to start off with -1 and 1 and only have $300 to his name after the Galil purchase and stuff like that. So that is a bit tough. Of course, we are going to see Tempo actually investing pretty heavily in this round. 3 head armors, CZs on 3 players, also a scout on Emong. They're actually getting very aggressive at middle here. As you can see them pressing up, they are going to spot Zek and Slip over here towards that mid upper B connector type area. And Mobility Gaming playing this right, though. They're not committing into this push. They know that there's some aggression here. They know that those CZs and stuff are dangerous, so they're definitely playing cautious, sitting back and grabbing those picks. Davey going to be running into B by himself, able to get the 180 frag on the Pinecone. Pinecone definitely had the opportunity there, but he definitely missed out on it. And so now Davey is going to once again find himself in a 1 versus 2 here in B. Flam will get the frag, but that's okay. All 4 of his teammates are still up and pretty healthy with the exception of Slip. And they will be able to bring this bomb back through T-spawn over towards A. There is actually no one A. Flam and Emong are just kind of gambling here, trying to play B together, see if they can't pick up some more frags, maybe collect some more guns. In fact, no one has been able to collect the gun over there that Davey had. Which, actually, Davey was the one that didn't have a gun. I think he was the one that had a CZ, and everyone else had Galeos or the MP7 on slip. So I don't think there's really anything that that they could hope to collect. I think they just really want to try to save the scout, I guess. I mean, neither one of them have armor to save. But, I mean, I guess Flom wants to just save that $300 250 investment. And then Emung, I guess, wants to try to hold on to that scout. Which, I mean, makes sense. I mean, that's a decent amount of money to be able to hold on to. But you're definitely going to see some of Mobility Gaming maybe going a little bit of a chase here, up catwalk and up upper B. So we may see a little bit of a duel here inside the site, which could lead to Tempo not being able to save their guns. But we'll just have to see. As we do see Sidoff running through upper B. Flom definitely spots him there. Emung able to get the frag. Stan is able to get the frag on Flom, but that was not the gun carrier. So the scout still remains intact here for Tempo. Emung will still have it. And I'm kind of curious to see what they'll do with it. Let's just actually go over to Emung, because he'll be the only one that has a gun this round for Tempo. Everyone else is pretty much on a full save. I say that, but then Flom just picked up a CZ, and we just saw Pinecone pick up a 250. So still, I mean, no real huge investment economically here for Tempo. Definitely looking to go ahead and buy up in that round at number 4, which is definitely going to give Mobility Gaming a great chance to go ahead and push this to 3-0, unless Emung makes a huge play with the scout, or Flom is able to get up close on somebody with the CZ and do some damage. He has a great little bait set up here with Pinecone at A ramp, but unfortunately, they're not going to really catch any action. It's going to be some type of B play coming in. And I think now I'll actually take a break from talking and get a sip of something to drink here before my voice punishes me. So as you can see, Mobility Gaming definitely looking to do some type of B split. They smoked off the connector and window room, I think, as well. And they're running a couple of players up the catwalk while they have a couple at upper B as well. Shots is spotting this from the van area with the USP. Also going to take a lot of nade damage there from Stanislaw. Meanwhile, Slip getting aggressive inside the kitchen, able to pick up one here. Gets the scout down from Emung. Flom trades it back and picks up the scout for himself. But it's still a 2 versus 4 situation. It's not going to be easy going against an AK on Sidoff and 2 Galeos onto Zek and Stanislaw. So this should be, for all intents and purposes, a closed out round here in favor of Mobility Gaming, as Flom just holds on here with the scout at CT spawn, trying to see if he can pick up some type of exit frag, but so far that is not the case. But finally lands it there onto Zek, but he's going to get flanked here from mid-connector. Spots that 2, does the damage. Can he finish the frag on Stanislaw? No, he cannot, so Stan will get the frag there, but that's okay. I'm sure they were planning on upgrading and getting rid of that scout anyway if you're Tempo, so that isn't necessarily a big deal that they lost that, but Flom will pick up the op instead. I'm not sure if that is his primary role or not on this team. I know he's definitely potentially one of their in-game leaders. I know Michael 3D also likes to do some in-game leading, so I'm not 100% sure on that team dynamic. I guess I should watch their streams more often. I know Emung and Flom stream quite a lot. I'm sure they split duties a bit. As Flom will open up things, they're getting the op pick there onto Slip from connector. I guess Slip was thinking maybe he was going to be window instead, which that is kind of always a risky peek if you're a terrorist on Mirage. You never quite know if that opper is going to be window room or if he's going to be inside the connector, and if you guess wrong, you pretty much give them a free shot unless you have a teammate jump and bait for you. But now we are going to see MG trying to go ahead and smash into the A-bomb side with a bit of a split here, but so far Tempo is getting the best of it as Flom collects his second frag of the round, leaving Stanislaw all alone here with the Galil over towards the sandwich area. He gets one frag, but Pinecone is on top the stairs to trade, and so as the opening gun round is among us, it is going to be a win for Tempo, as the score is now 3-1. So Mobility Gaming not going to be able to continue building a lead here, as Tempo is quick to respond once the guns are out. So let's now move on to round number 5 here. Still full guns across the board. That Mobility Gaming is definitely still sitting on a 5 rifle setup. No op. Flom once again looking for the same connector peak, this time from the higher end on top there of connector, not dropping down low like he did in the initial round. So just, you know, trying to change things up a little bit, of course. Don't want to peak the same spot continuously. You get a little bit predictable. See Slip and company re-smoking out that window room area, which leads me to think they want to work some type of pick into connector, and Sidoff is starting to kind of work that way from the underpass. Second company going to be there. Davey just watching for upper B pushes, might try to throw down some spam here. as it looks like they are actually going to start maybe working their way up the catwalk. So I wonder if they're going to try to smoke off connector again. They do have another smoke on window, but Michael 3D definitely not completely blocked off here, but he's playing more pass towards the stairs, so we can definitely see some type of B-split once again from Mobility Gaming, up cat and upper B. That seems to be what they're looking for. We do see Pinecone and company trying to shut this down. Pinecone gets one frag onto slip at the catwalk and gets away. Shot still over here towards the van, spotting upper B, gets the kill onto Davey. Stanislaw still up there. Sidoff has made his way up the cat, but the rotation's really good for the CTs, but it doesn't matter. Stanislaw comes up with 2 frags there, and now he's in a 1 versus 3. If Sidoff could have remained alive, they might have had a chance, but now he's pretty much all alone. This is going to be tough. Actually gets caught with his pants down, trying to come back through catwalk. Michael 3D was ready for that, and he'll get the frag, and so it'll now be 2-3. And kind of a rough situation here for MG. I mean, they're definitely going to have to save. I mean, Stanislaw could definitely drop some pistols, though, at the very least, and they could at least have some CZs and stuff to work with. But other than that, it is going to be, you know, a save round here from MG, which will definitely give Tempo a chance to really have a good shot at tying this thing up at 3-all. It looks like with their save round, they're looking for do some type of ace split. I only see 1 smoke on Stanislaw, so they're really only going to be able to block off like 1 thing. And other than that, they're just going to be pretty much bum rushing it. It's going to be a smoke on the stairs. And so here comes MG trying to spill out, but Flom has that op over towards window room, and he is definitely not handicapped at all by any type of smoke. Easy peeks for him, as he'll be able to pick up a couple of frags, leaving Sidoff all alone. He tried to sneak in a bomb plant, but he is going to get chased down. He ran out of bullets, had to pull out his knife, and that was just easy pickings at that point for Tempo. However, the way that Flom is opping window room and connector with the op, unless he decides to get ballsy and press through a smoke, I think if MG goes to their normal A execution with the smoke on stairs and smoke on connector window room, as well as CT spawn, they'll definitely get some type of, you know, 5-on-2 initial situation inside the A site. Maybe even a better situation than that. So I think that's definitely their ticket. They need to go to that A execution. I think it'll work really good. It'll definitely block off Flom floating around with that op from really being able to see anything. Except this time Flom's actually getting aggressive on catwalk and picks up slip once again. They are just not ready for this, and credit to Tempo for changing things up with the changing the op from connector window room to an aggressive cat push. I definitely like that, but Sidoff is going to trade it out immediately, brings it back to a 4-on-4, so it is definitely now back and stabilized on an equal situation here as Pinecone tries his best to get a little bit aggressive at window, tries to throw some bullets down, does some damage, but doesn't get the frag. His teammate also tried to do something similar down the connector, but also not finding anything. And so MG is starting to work their way into, once again, maybe some type of A split. They might try to come through connector to A with Davey coming up A ramp late and still try to pinch off A ramp. They also have one player kind of floating around in the ladder room. He could come window and try to do something. Zek does take out Michael 3D, so this is definitely going to lead to some type of A split. There is only one player in the area that's going to be Emung, who's just going to be hiding it out inside the apartment, so waiting for his rotation to come in here. As he will eat some grenades, he tries to come out. Oh my goodness, will he grab the frag? He does. He grabs the bomb carrier, but Davey trades it immediately. And so they should be able to collect this bomb and get it planted before anybody can really challenge. As Pinecone is going to get taken down. Shots, great reaction onto Zek. Zek legged him. That is unfortunate. And so the bomb will get planted here. Shots force himself into a 1-on-2. As Davey will be kind of playing over here towards the sandwich, and Stanislaw will be playing over here towards the toll booth, or ticket booth, whatever you want to call that, over towards CT spawn. Shots. Looks like he kind of wants to go for it, but he's not really going to have a whole lot of time to think about it, as Stanislaw will pretty much put him out immediately as he peeks into the site. And so it will be 4-3, so each team has now had some type of 3-round winning streak, though I guess you would like Tempo's a bit better since it came on gun rounds, but Mobility's finally starting to fight back here. Both teams are still going to be able to buy out, but the money's getting low, really on both sides, because while MG won, their money is reset, obviously, after coming off the loss bonus to a win, and they had to rebuy a bunch of players. And, you know, Tempo is starting to run short on money as well, so this round's really probably going to lead to whoever loses ecoing, so we could see a quick, you know, 6-3 or maybe a 5-4 situation here. Depending on how this round goes, unless, you know, of course, you have some kind of crazy eco victory, which does happen, so don't want to count the chickens before they hatch too much, but this round's pretty much worth 2 for either team, I think. I feel like my chat died, or you guys are just really focused. I haven't seen a lot of activity in there in a while, but that's okay. As Michael 3D getting aggressive here with the Max 7 up A Ram, gets the frag there on the Stanislaw. It's now once again an equal 4-on-4 early on, but Pinecone inside the site, really preventing this mid to A push as he takes down Slip and Sit Off. Bomb down on top the stairs. Pinecone is aware of it, but he does come out a little bit too far there on the peak, and that gives a free kill to Davey. Now making it a 3-on-2, but Flom quick to bring it back here as he gets the kill on to Davey, leaving Zek all alone, 1-on-3, and he will get shot in the back there from shots while he was flanking through the catwalk area. So it is 4-4. And like I said, a good chance that we're going to see a save here from Mobility Gaming, and a great chance that Tempo will be able to then make it 5-4. And it seems to be exactly the case. Like I said, I really like to see Mobility Gaming go to their bread and butter A hit that we were kind of talking about pregame. You know, with your, yeah, do that smoke, that's great, but add another one here, get another one here on CT spawn, and really block off Flom from being a factor. And I think that would work out well for them on a gun round, but we'll have to see. Like I was saying before the match started, Mobility Gaming prides themselves on this map kind of being one of their best, though they did just have a roster change, so maybe things have changed. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised not to see a little bit more out of him here, as Tempo has been doing pretty good ever since the pistol rounds ended. It looks like they are going to go ahead and just mop this one up pretty easily here, as Shots is just holding things down at the B-bomb side, Sit Off, trying to make a miracle happen with the CZ. He doesn't get the kill on the shots, but there's just way too powerful of a rotation coming in from Tempo. He's not going to be able to do anything else. And so with that being said, it is that 5-4 situation we kind of spoke on earlier. Op is being rebought here, so I guess Flom is going to pick that back up. And kind of curious to see MG actually going on a double eco. I did not expect that. I figured they would be able to kind of buy rifles in this round, but maybe they want to get an op. Maybe they don't have quite enough money to be able to get full grenade sets on top of their AKs, so maybe that leads me to believe that they're ecoing this round so they can get full grenade sets, so they can go for that A execution we were talking about. Or maybe they want to pick up an op and kind of change things up on the picking game. They've kind of let Flom run free with the op here. They never really challenged him directly with another op of their own. So that could be part of it as well. As Flom has gotten one frag here at mid, Pinecone going to go ahead and help him out there from ladder room for a second. Davey trying to come out and do something here at A, but he's all alone. And there's so many guns pointing in his direction. Flom will just shoot him through the box, and that'll be a little bit of a slap in the face, a little bit of a giggle-type moment, I guess you could say. Something to laugh about there. But here we go. MG is definitely going to be able to buy out completely in this round. Head armor across the board. We do have an op coming up on Zek, who is our primary op, and we haven't really seen him use it too much this game. In fact, I think will be the first time I've seen him buy one, maybe the second. I guess there may have been one other time, but I feel like this is the first or second time he's had it. So we'll see what he does with it here. He's looking for a window, no one's there. Is he going to get caught by Flom at connector? No, not going to happen. He's just going to miss his shot, but the guy gets away, and so no harm, no foul there. Meanwhile, we are seeing them put a little bit of pressure here at B. That is where the bomb's going to be. So they're trying to force the issue at B, which is, to me, makes no sense because Shots and company have done a great job holding this off. And so I feel like they're just kind of running into suicide here. I mean, unless they really feel confident they can get these picks, I just don't see it happening. Pinecone and Shots have been very solid over here on this side of the map. It's not looking too favorable for them. They're going to go for it, though, it seems like. Shots misses a flash there, but no big deal. Once again, I think they're just kind of waiting out this next smoke. Oh, and Shots is going to get the bomb down in the slip and gets a second frag on the Stanislaw. What a huge blunder there from Mobility Gaming. Kind of coming through the smoke there a little bit too early. They led with the bomb. You'd never lead with the bomb on a rush because this happens. The guy gets a kill, then you're forced to play through it and try to collect the bomb back, and just gives more free frags to Tempo. And so this is definitely a tough situation here. This should definitely be going to Tempo unless a miracle, like I said, happens here from Davey or Sit Off. They just definitely don't look to be as comfortable as they were when I watched them play this at the ESEA-P qualifiers. Like I said, it could be because of the roster change. I'm not really sure. But I'm definitely surprised we haven't seen more A executions from them. Maybe we'll see it here in the next few rounds before the half is over. But it definitely seems like Tempo has gained a lot of control. I mean, if you look at these last 7 rounds, they've won 6 of the last 7. They've definitely been in control ever since the gun rounds came out. Mobility Gaming was able to find one gun round, but outside of that, they haven't done a whole lot. And Pinecone here, oh my goodness, that makes it even worse. Unable to save the guns, they lose the round. That's $0 for each player. and so that definitely means that we're going to see yet another eco out of Mobility Gaming, and Tempo are definitely starting to get quite a lot of momentum in this game, putting quite a lot of rounds together back to back. And so it's just it's getting rough for Mobility Gaming at this point. Definitely looking very good for Tempo, who have kind of struggled early on in the season so far. And I think a lot of people expect them to do really, really well with the powerhouse roster that they have and like the names that you recognize. But they definitely haven't had the best start. You know, 3-2 record, not bad. It's still very early. They could definitely still turn things around and have a really good record. But definitely lost a couple of matches that people probably didn't expect them to lose. Whenever they lost to NFS on Train in week 1, and then they lost to TNT on Dust 2 last week. Meanwhile, the only team that the Mobility lost to was, I think, Homeless, which is one of the favorite teams in the league altogether. So definitely a better start for Mobility Gaming in this season, but Tempo is definitely doing a great job here. That was kind of just an eco mop-up round, but it ended with a nice little exclamation point of a shot there from Flom with the mid-air op over towards stairs. But here we go, Mobility Gaming going to be able to buy up fully here. Looks like they're going to do a 5-rifle setup this time, though. No op, which is fine. They don't need it. They haven't really done a whole lot with it when they have bought it, so not a big deal. Kind of curious to see what they're going to do, though. Once again, bringing this bomb over towards upper B and mid, so I think we're going to see some type of A split again through mid-connector ramp and apartments. Seems to be what they're looking for here, but Flom is going to be in window room, and he is not smoked off at all, so he's probably going to get a free pick here. Slip specs out a little bit further. Looks like Sidoff is going to try to smoke him out here as he comes up the underpass. Or actually smoking on Cat, never mind. And Pinecone tried to get aggressive on Cat, got caught there by Slip, but Flom is going to get the trade at the very least, so it still remains a 4-on-4. And most of these 4-on-4 early situations have definitely gone in Tempo's favor, as all the rounds have, as you can see. But it looks like they are, once again, going for that connector hit up into A, but Michael 3D will be on the stairs. He'll be able to get Zek down and gets down Sidoff. Great play there from Michael 3D, and a bit of a fumble there from MG to not be able to collect that trade. And then Emung will get the last 2 kills of the round to finish it off there. So, yeah, Mobility Gaming just not trading efficiently at all. You know, they're allowing Emung and Michael 3D in instances like that to pick up 2 frags and not trading the player out like you would expect to happen. Not only that, but their smokes aren't even really hitting. Like, their window smoke didn't hit, gave Flom pretty much free access to op up mid without being blocked or anything. I just think it seems like MG just doesn't have the comfort that they used to have, if that makes any sense. They don't seem as comfortable with themselves and what they're doing. And like I said, it could be because of the roster shakeup. I don't really know. But I just distinctly remember them seeing them go for more A splits than what they're. I mean, they're still going for A splits, but it's up connector, ramp, and apartments rather than the smoke walls that I'm used to seeing from them. And they're trying to go up connector again. They try to put a smoke on cap. A Pinecone is able to see through it there. No big deal, and gets the frag. And once again, MG stuck in a disadvantageous situation. 2-on-4. Bomb is going to be down here. Slip trying to make some plays, gets a kill onto Emung, so he's starting to equalize it just a little bit here, but Tempo still at the advantage, 3-on-2, but never mind, Stanislaw gets the kill on the Pinecone at Cat, and so it is now a 2-on-2, but he doesn't pay attention, shots was on Cat as well, and so he'll be able to land the trade here, and he takes down Slip, and so Tempo is just doing so well on the CT side here, 10-4 situation. It's looking real good for them right now. And like I said, man, I've just never seen Mobility Gaming go for that A split that is so good for them. You know, the smoke here, the smoke here, the smoke here. Block off Flom from being able to op you through these passageways. I mean, those are things that I saw them do on a consistent basis, and it worked well for them, you know, just a few weeks ago at the ESWC qualifiers. And I mean, they are doing some A splits, but it's mostly through mid-connector, and their smokes at Cat and Window have been off and haven't really blocked off the rotation that well, so they just get kind of picked off as they try to execute A. It's just little mistakes like that with their grenade placement. And Pinecone actually just able to pick up 2 frags on the catwalk, things he should not be able to do without being traded. But Zek and Davey starting to fight back here, 2-on-3. But, oh man, Slip gets taken down by Flom immediately here, and so Davey gets left in a ridiculously difficult 1 versus 3 to try to end the half here. He's going to jump into window room, but I think he probably got heard there by Emung, and so Emung should be able to get this, and he will, and so it'll be 11-4 in favor of Tempo. Gotta love that standard at halftime. Happens every time. Should be able to get right back in, guys, so don't... Apologies. Apologies for the crash. We didn't miss anything. Apologies for that, but like I said, we didn't miss anything. It's just sometimes at halftime my game crashes. I'm not sure what, if it's a GoTV issue, an ESEA issue, not quite sure. But like I said, luckily we didn't miss anything. But yeah, definitely a great half there from Tempo. They win the half 11-4. Like I said, Mobility Gaming just never really seemed comfortable with how they were executing the A-bomb site. Their smokes weren't really hitting at catwalk and window room, so they kind of just got caught by rotations very easily. But let's see if they can turn things around for themselves here, as they are going to be on the pistol round. Once again, aggressive mid setup here from Mobility Gaming to open things off. They really like to get aggressive mid on CT side quite a lot. You'll see them do this on gun rounds as well, where Davey will just kind of press all the way up to the box area there at mid. So this is definitely a common thing for MG to do. But unfortunately, the bomb gets planted behind their back as the T's made their way through upper B. And Flom, Emung, and Shots, and Pinecone all getting a piece in that round. Michael 3D only got to not get a frag for Tempo that round, so almost a complete roster share as far as the frags went. So great thought from ability to get aggressive at mid, but unfortunately that just allowed the bomb to get through upper B without too much trouble, and therefore a bomb plant was pretty easy for Tempo, and then they just held off the retake from Cat. And that's pretty much now 12-4, looking really tough from Ability Gaming now, as Tempo has quite a great lead, and if they play their cards right and don't run into any type of crazy stack or lose to the CZ round, they should be able to push this to 14-4. So let's see what happens here. Sidoff is just kind of jump peeking the upper B. That is where the bomb is at, and there are a lot of players gathered over there. Michael 3D is kind of watching for any type of crazy A aggression into T spawn. And yeah, that's basically the big thing. Stanislaw trying to get aggressive here in the underpass. It's going to get spotted out there by Shots. He did a little bit of damage, but not enough to cause too much of a stir. Stanislaw trying to come back up. He does get the kill onto Shots and onto Pinecone. Stanislaw trying to make things happen, but Emung trades it back to a 3-on-3 here. It looks like we are going to see him trying to work his way up catwalk. Sidoff trying to get aggressive on the Cat, so he may look for a pick. Slip in the connector gets one. Flom trades it back instantaneously, but Sidoff is still here to pose a threat from the Cat. But luckily for Tempo, Michael 3D sniffs him out. And then now they know exactly where both players are. They're going to start heading back towards upper B. This means that Stanislaw is just going to have to try to rotate back through with Sidoff to B, which is what's going to happen, which to me kind of blows my mind. Oh, this is exactly what... Okay. What are they doing? Okay, well, it looks like they're trying to go upper B. I guess they couldn't really make it to A. And so that's just easy peasy for Stanislaw and Sidoff at that point. So good eco around there from MG, especially Stanislaw, getting those 2 picks at the underpass area with the CZ. That really opened things up. And that helps them out a lot, because if they would have allowed this to go to 14-4 uncontested, that would have been a really crazy comeback to try to make. And so now it gets a little bit more manageable as they've collected some guns. They collected 2 AKs, and they've bought up 3 M4s, and they forced Tempo on an eco. So this should definitely help them to make that comeback effort now. You are going to see Stanislaw just kind of mow some people down coming up A-ramp with the AK. Picks up the CZ to grab the hat trick, and Zek and Slip also chimed in for a couple of frags. And so we now have a 6-12 scoreline here, still in favor of Tempo Gaming, but definitely starting to see a little bit more life out of Mobility. After having a rough first half, they able to get that eco, and then they got the previous round as well, and so they're starting to close the gap a little bit, but they still have a long way to go. Tempo is, of course, going to go ahead and kind of save up here again. They do have smokes across the board and CZs, so they're going to go for some type of execution here. Not sure where. They might throw some smokes over at A as a fake and then hit upper B. Seems to be the case here. They got that smoke on CT spawn. Well, they're definitely going to be hitting towards upper B. But Davey going to step out, catch Emung over at the catwalk. So it is going to hurt a little bit here, but here comes the upper B push, it appears, for Tempo Gaming, but Sidoff is going to be waiting for it here at the van, grabs 1 frag there onto Pinecone. Davey chimes in as well. Sidoff gets the bomb down with the frag onto Michael 3D, and so that leaves Flom all alone here. So he will be making his way up the mid. Has a lot of time to play around with, but he's in a 1-on-5, so it's definitely not looking like he's going to be able to do much of anything. He's just trying to sneak around and see if he's going to be able to catch some type of surprise frag on the rotator. But you can see the CTs are staying pretty close together, and probably not going to give him a 1v1. Looks like Flom is trying to make his way here into upper B. Now Sidoff is still spotting this, I believe, from the van. Davey going to be supporting him here from window. And that is exactly where we should see this battle commence here. It's between Sidoff and Flom through the upper B. Oh, Flom getting the headshot there onto Sidoff. If he can kill Davey and grab the bomb, he might be able to make something interesting happen here. But, oh, the rotation has come in through Kitchen and Catwalk already, so now it's like basically a 3 versus 1. He's angling into another 1 versus 1 and gets Zek, but Slip is able to make the trade in the end. So while Flom tried to make that a little bit interesting, it was kind of a tough situation to try to make anything out of 1 versus 5. I mean, that would be insane if you're able to come up with a win on that type of situation. So, not too surprising, Mobility was able to capitalize that, and so we will see now 7-12 on the scoreboard. So, what started as a close game kind of turned into a one-sided game in favor of Tempo, but now it's starting to come back to a little bit of a closer game. So hopefully it will end that way if Mobility Gaming can keep things up, as we do have our first pretty much equal gun round of the half. Looks like Tempo is definitely setting up for an A execution here. Maybe now we're going to see that smoke barrage that we've discussed several times, but this time it'll come from Tempo instead of MG. Yep. There goes the smokes. Oh, but Emong peeks a little bit too early. Zek was not blocked off by a smoke yet, so he gets a free frag there. Slip hiding inside the side box, able to come out and grab 2 frags of his own as well. And so this A hit is definitely flopping pretty huge, but Flom is trying to bring it back as he gets the 2 kills and gets it into a 2 versus 3. He's going to try to go for the bomb plant, sit off, trying to spin through the smoke, but Flom will get the plant. So at least they get that, but it's going to be tough to hold off this retake. Flom trying his best here. He gets a 3rd frag, but in the end, the remaining MG players are able to get it going. And that could have really worked. The problem was is Emong peeked out here a little too early. Zek is just waiting here with the op. Easy shot, no smoke blocking him off. If Emong would have waited just another second or so, and that smoke would have went up, they might have been able to get into the site without suffering any casualties, and then they just would have had to have worried about getting Slip, who was pretty much stuck by himself inside the site. I mean, Slip was here, and once those smokes were up, he had 0 support. But the frag happens at here, and then Slip gets 2, and then that's pretty much over at that point. So that was definitely the big hiccup in that round, was just not waiting long enough for that smoke to deploy and block off Zek's vision with the op into the upper A, or Palace, whatever you like to call it. I'm so used to calling it like A Apartments from the old version of Mirage, so I do apologize for that. As Tempo Gaming is still fully bought out here. AKs across the board. Op on Flom. Op is still, of course, on Zek for the CT side here. Looks like Tempo is looking to maybe do something over towards the B side this time around. And Pinecon able to get a pick at the underpass area on the stand. Davey trying to see if he can try to hold Pinecon off. A nice grenade takes him down to 15 HP. As shots will start working his way up mid. Spotting out Zek here on Cat and lands the headshot. A great one. Zek hit his shot, but just not quite where it needed to be. Does take a lot of damage to shots, but shots still remains alive and gets the frag. And so here comes the execute up the connector. There is Davey inside the site. He's able to pick up 1, but Flom trades it out, and Emong takes down Slip, who was rotating from spawn, and that leaves Sidoff all alone in a 1 versus 4. And this is going to be quite difficult, as he's got that throwback M4 Tornado skin. Oh man, haven't seen one of those in quite a bit. I think he spotted, no, he hasn't spotted anyone yet. Spots Emong here, grabs the kill, 1 on 3. There's going to be 1 in apartments, 1 A ramp, and 1 towards connector. So, really hard angles for him to deal with, but they're giving him these 1-on-1s, and he gets another frag, and now he's coming in. If he sticks this, I mean, there's a world where he, no, I guess not. I guess Flom was just a little bit too close and a little bit too alert for him to be able to try to sneak that defuse off. But if he could have gotten the kill on the Flom, he probably would have gotten it, because the other guy was definitely not at a good angle and was pretty far away. So that was actually a good effort from Sidoff in that 1 versus 4. Got 2 frags, got in a good position to maybe pull off a defuse, but Flom was just a little bit too close. And so Tempo fights back here. After losing 4 rounds in a row, picks up another and brings it to 13-8. So they're starting to try to extend their lead a little bit, but still an equal gun round across the board, and so still a chance for Mobility to work on their own comeback effort. As Zek gonna land a nice shot there onto Flom at mid, showing that he can do it as well from the window. Pinecone able to do a lot of damage though from the underpass area, kind of forcing the offer back. And Davey getting aggressive on the catwalk though, able to take down shots. And so MG is definitely staying in the advantage here. 5-on-3 situation, looking very sharp right now on their CT side. Pinecone trying to work his way up connector, but Stan is going to catch him there from the stairs. And so now it's 5-on-2, so 3 unanswered frags coming from Ability Gaming, as they are starting to kind of hit their stride here. Leaving just Emong and Michael 3D left to try to make something happen. Both of them are going to be towards mid here. Emong does have the op. Stanislaw working his way aggressively up mid right now, but isn't going to get caught by Emong, just peeking a little bit too close towards that close corner, which allowed Emong a free shot. There's still 40 seconds left on the clock here, so Tempo could try to do something here. 2-on-4, going to be tough, but they can get this frag onto Davey. Zek has low HP inside the window room, and this could be some type of execution. Looks like they actually are trying to go up connector to A, though. And that's going to give some free shots for Davey, as he is going to do a lot of damage to Emong, and that nade will finish him, leaving Michael 3D all alone. He's going to try to make the same challenge, but Davey is going to be on top of it there. So 3 nice kills from Davey with the M4 at the catwalk. And so it will be 13-9. So Mobility Gaming seems pretty keen on keeping this game close and trying to keep their comeback dreams alive, and doing it in a pretty good fashion. And so here we are going to see an eco round here from Tempo, giving Mobility Gaming a shot at getting to the double digits here and getting within 3 rounds of tying. Just going to be a huge upper B hit here, and so I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen, as it's going to be mostly Sit-Off who's going to be in charge of defending against this with the help of Davey. Sit-Off gets 1 frag, Davey with another frag, Davey with 2, Sit-Off with 2. Bomb's still going to get planted by shots, but he'll get taken care of pretty quickly there, so a good round there from Sit-Off. 3 frags for him, Davey with 2. And so it is going to be that 10-13 situation that we were talking about. Of course, Tempo will be able to fully buy out here. Curious to see if they'll go for that execution again they did earlier, maybe just try to time their peaks better after the smokes have deployed. Or if they're going to go for a mid action again. Looks like they're definitely looking to go towards mid and B again. There's going to be sending 4 players up that way, including the bomb carrier. This Michael 3D guy is going to just be throwing the smoke at window room from CT spawn. Smoke on connector as well. So definitely looking to do some type of mid execution here. Now Slip is going to be playing inside the ladder room. So if they do try to work their way up the catwalk, they might run into some trouble there. Zek meanwhile peeking upper B with the op. And he is going to land the shot there onto shot. Shot's peeking pretty wide there, and he's going to get caught. Meanwhile, look at this aggression from MG up the A ramp. Michael 3D is waiting for it, though, but he won't be able to stop it. He gets taken down. MG's going to go ahead and back up. This is going to cause TMP to try to work their way up connector, but there is 1 CT at the stairs, but Stan will get taken down by Flom. And so we are going to see TMP definitely looking for this A split. Slip from the catwalk, though, able to take down Emong. Davey also taking down Flom. And so it's going to be all up to Pinecone here at the connector. Gets spotted out by Slip, gets the frag onto him. He's in a 1-on-2 now with pretty low HP. Spots one towards the A ramp, but Zek is able to pick him up with the op from CT spawn. And so another round goes to Mobility. I think TMP definitely made the right choice. They knew that there was 2 guys pressed through A ramp, so they knew that they probably had a huge numbers advantage on the other guy towards connector, which they did, and they got that frag. But then they allowed Slip to kind of rotate on them from the catwalk flank and get a free frag. And then a couple other little, just misses on trades led to Mobility Gaming getting back into the round there. So great job from MG. Zek's op has been on point this half, and their aggression has worked out for them for the most part, especially that round. Getting the pick on the Michael 3D pretty early. We are going to see another eco round coming in from TMP as they're trying to spill into the A-bomb side to make something happen, but so far getting shut down from the likes of Zek and Slip. As it is going to be Emong left alone here. He does have an M4 and a 1-on-3 and has 100 HP, but has no grenades, so no way to really work into the site to get this bomb without being spotted. So just have to try to go for the frags here. He gets 1 frag onto Zek, so he's making things happen here, but Davey will catch the trade, and so it will now be 12-13, as this game's definitely getting very, very close. Like I said, it started out pretty close. It was 5-4 at one point, but then, of course, we saw Tempo really kind of jump ahead to 11-4, but now, in this second half, take a look at the graph there. You can see It's almost like what happened for Tempo on their CT side, now happening for Mobility Gaming. Winning 8 of the last 9 rounds. So definitely a very dominant half for MG, just as the CT side was very dominant for Tempo. So basically, it's just come down to a story of who can play CT side slightly better. Or maybe the other way around, who can play T side slightly better, as both have had a strong CT. Left a little bit more passive setup here from Tempo, not really going for anything too early. Pinecone just watching for the connector, or excuse me, underpass aggression. Shots, looking to see if anyone's up or B. There is the aggression I was telling you about with Davey at mid. I mentioned this before, Davey loves to work all the way up mid to box. After he gets support from his teammate to get to this position, his teammate will then fall back to connector. And it's definitely a play that can cause a lot of havoc and a lot of chaos for Tempo. Especially if Pinecone's not paying attention coming out connector and Davey catches him in the side of the head. Bomb is definitely looking like it wants to go towards A, so maybe we're going to see some type of... it's going to be an underpass to mid connector on these 2 players, and then 2 up A ramp and 1 out apartment. So another A split setup, but 2 from mid. But Davey is going to try to shut it down, and he does get 1 frag. Can he get the second? Yes, he can. He completely eliminates the mid A split now. It was definitely going to be those 2 guys trying to come up connector with help from A ramp and Palace, but... Davey shuts it down with the M4 aggressively, and then Zek comes up with the hat trick with the op and the CZ to tie it up at 13 all. And so, yeah, I mean, that's just what I'm talking about. Davey getting aggressive at mid. He likes to do that, and it worked out really well. He shut down pretty much half of the mid-A split. And that pretty much led to Mobility Gaming getting the victory there. So Tempo still, of course, able to buy. They're on that maximum loss bonus, so they'll be able to force buy rifles for the rest of the half. Looks like they are thinking about going for this A execute again. I see the smoke coming up on stairs in CT spawn, so let's see how this works out. Slip tries to throw a Molotov, but throws it into the smoke, so it won't be effective. But his M4 will be, as he'll land 2 frags there. Nice headshots and shots in Emong. Michael 3D able to finally get something going for his teammates. He'll get the frag onto Stan, but Slip will deliver a 3rd frag before finally getting put to rest by Flom. And so the advantage is definitely still in favor of MG. Michael 3D trying to change things with this frag onto Zek, but Davey finding right back, leading Flom to a 1-on-2, and he gets caught trying to run back to A-ramp by Sit-Off there. And so Mobility Gaming looking like they want to win this thing after being down 11-4. They have been able to turn things around in a huge fashion. Now 1 round away from game point, 14-13, and Tempo really has a tough call here. I mean, it looks like they're going to go ahead and force buy. I mean, it was either, you know, do what they do here, just force buy a bunch of Galil and try to contend for game point, or, you know, you have to save and play for the tie. And so it looks like they're going to go for the buy, which makes perfect sense. In fact, this is probably less risky than trying to just save and hope that you can play for the OT. As Davey is going to go ahead and get aggressive here on the connector. Once again, this aggressive mid setup. This time it's Stan press all the way up to mid box, and Davey catches a kill at underpass. As MG definitely looks poised to try to put this thing away. I mean, they have been very, very consistent on their gun rounds here in this this second half on their CT side. Same with Tempo, but it seems like maybe Mobility is just doing slightly better on their CT. But never mind. Hold the phone. Shots and Emon coming up huge here for Tempo, and they have a 4-on-2 advantage here. Looks like they might try to work their way up mid to A. Zek will be here with the op. He might be able to get a free frag. Oh, a 2-for-1, and what a great time to get one as he brings it to a 2-on-2 situation. Looking for another op frag, but misses the shot, but that's okay. Looks like Sit-Off should be making his rotation out to window room to help him out. He pulls out the CZ. Gets a little bit of damage on the connector player, but Flom is able to trade him out. But Sit-Off is in position here. He grabs the frag on the Michael 3D. Can he just finish off Flom and push Mobility Gaming to game point, or can Flom tie this thing up 14-all? Zek did his job, but now Sit-Off needs to do his part, as he will be working his way around. There is a smoke up. Flom working around the edge of it. Oh my goodness, this is going to be so intense. If this smoke dissipates, it could go either way. Oh, Sit-Off should have the advantage here. Oh, he does get it as well. Great headshot there from Sit-Off. Great play. Great timing. Maybe Flom should have thought differently about trying to play into that smoke. Maybe he should have just fell back into CT spawn where he had more cover instead of risking it inside of the smoke. Because, I mean, when you're inside of the smoke like that, once it dissipates, one or two things happen. Either the dude's looking straight at you and he's going to see you before you see him, because that's just the way smoke mechanics kind of work, which is what happened there. Or you're going to get a surprise jump on him. But it's really risky. I think Flom would have done better just to kind of chill in CT spawn there. The bomb was planted for him if he would have went CT spawn. and you would have had a better chance to play from cover there and win that round. But as it stands, Mobility Gaming is going to be at game point 15-13. Looks like they are setting up for some smokes inside the B-bomb site, maybe trying to smoke off the kitchen window area and such. Sit-off is going to be here, throwing some smokes and flashes of his own. He's just going to play behind the smoke, which is good, because now you can just watch the site crossing. He will, and he'll get the frag onto Pinecone. Great headshot there. And now you just have to wait for them to play into him. But Flom will get the second frag, and so it will be Tempo, keeping it an even 4-on-4 as they try to work their way into the site here. Zek already rotating around with the op, but never mind. Stanislaw is doing all the damage here with his M4 as he presses through bench and grabs 3 quick frags. Flom trying to make something happen, but it's just not going to. And so in the end, we are going to see Mobility Gaming win the game in a pretty close fashion. 16-13, definitely a close game. But like I said, I think the story of this match really was just who could get more rounds on CT side. I mean, it was for Tempo, it was 11. And for Mobility Gaming, it was 12. I mean, that's pretty much what it boiled down to. 2 really strong CT sides and 2 teams that struggled on T side. And that's pretty much how it went.